What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Carolina Barbecue Festival's 5th anniversary will be the Queen City's biggest barbecue party yet. 30 pitmasters, 3 big events, and it all gets started with the barbecue brunch, brisket and biscuits. Expert barbecue pitmasters team up with Charlotte's top chefs to create a curated food event in partnership with Savor Charlotte. Brisket and Biscuits, March 28th at Town Brewing in Charlotte. Reserve your tickets right now at carolinabbqfest.org. To discover other features in Savor Charlotte's March culinary adventure, visit the Eat and Drink menu at charlottesgotalot.com. One of the chefs at Brisket and Biscuits is today's guest, Chris Rogienski, the executive chef at Charlotte's Leluia Hall, which he helped open last year. Before that, 4 years as opening executive chef at Supperland, which was named one of Bon Appetit's best new restaurants, and the Michelin Guide says you can find some of the American South's best cocktails there. Further back, Chris Rogienski is a Skills USA New York Culinary State Champion. Chris, we're so excited to welcome you to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. Super excited to chat barbecue with you guys.
Yeah, so I read your CV that I could find out there in the interwebs. How would you introduce yourself to a new audience of barbecue and food fans?
I live and breathe food. I've been down here in North Carolina about 10, 11 years. Been with the Tony Daniel Brown Group, opened Haberdish, Supperland, now Leluia Hall. So I'm just kind of really into Southern cooking. I didn't have a lot of experience with that when I first came down here, but now it's kind of my bread and butter.
Gotcha. So now, again, we are a barbecue podcast. We're going to get more into your bread and butter, but I got to ask you about barbecue first. If you can imagine in your mind your perfect barbecue plate, what is going to be on it? What is barbecue for Chris?
Perfect barbecue for me is fatty brisket. I love chopped whole barbecue, so chopped pig.
Yeah.
Lots of skin in there. I love coleslaw, beans. I'm pretty much a fan of it all. I don't really dig on the smoked turkey, but other than that, I'll do most of it.
Very good. So let's talk about Leluia Hall a little bit. What is it? Where are you? And maybe give some folks a little bit of the backstory there.
Gotcha. So it's in a old church. It is a steak and surf concept. We pride ourselves on using only Wagyu and prime meats. We cut all of our meats in-house. We also have a pretty extensive raw bar program. We run 4 oysters, ceviches, crudos, things like that. It's got a lot of coastal flair, very, very fresh flavors. Supperland's they roll you out of there, and Leluia Hall is like its elegant sister, is the best way to put it.
Gotcha. So why surf and turf? How'd you decide to get in that direction?
Just love seafood. I love steak. Supperland has a big steak presence, and I was trying to just take that same energy, but also give it like a nice seafood flair. We have tons of sea bass on the menu and a rotating whole fish, and it's just a lighter option, but still something really delicious. I'm from Long Island originally, so big seafood guy, and can't go wrong with a good steak.
Yeah. Do you still feel like you're able to kind of keep the menu fresh with some, maybe be creative with, nothing against surf and turf, but steak's pretty standard. A lot of fish is pretty standard. Can you still be creative with those things?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we have a rotating whole fish. We change fairly often. We get to bring in different oysters all the time. At the little nuances, the differences between each oyster is always fun to kind of, get with the staff about. And, we got to keep it interesting because, you can't do the same thing every day. You got to keep it fresh.
Sure. So looking a little bit into the history of its project's development, I understand 32 months kind of in the development time. Tell me a little bit about your anticipation and the wait for all that time before it opened up last year. What are you doing during that time?
So I was still running Supperland during that time. And, once a week we would meet up on a Monday or a Wednesday, and we just go through the menu item by item and just kind of see what works, what doesn't work. One of our dishes, the masa and cheese, we probably made, 150 times before we got it right. And it really allowed us to make the menu perfect because we had so much time to R&D everything.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you open up last year. You've done that R&D ahead of time. Since the opening, has there been anything drastic that you've already changed or maybe want to change apart from kind of the nuances you'll have in a seasonal menu?
Yeah, we had a salmon taco to open with, and just wasn't really selling kind of salmon. Everyone does salmon, and I've always loved a good lobster roll. So we kind of took the idea of a lobster roll and put it into a taco, and that has really taken off. Our seafood tower has also we've made a lot of sudden tweaks, so now it's a little more extravagant, a little more grand. You know, when it hits the table, everyone kind of oohs and ahs, and everybody loves that. So those are the two things that have changed. We've changed a lot of other things, but those are probably two of my favorite things we've changed.
Yeah, so you're looking ahead. We're kind of in the spring of the calendar year. As you look into the spring and the summer, what kind of things are you looking to try to incorporate into the menu or and maybe rotate out?
I can't. So we use a company called Fresh List, and what
Uh-huh.
they do is they get I don't know. I think there's like a couple hundred farms around North Carolina and South Carolina, and what they do is they kind of give us a large list of all fresh produce and stuff every week. So I'm really looking forward to using a lot of fresh produce and do some vegetable specials and things like that. Calettes are one of my favorite things that come around. They just were in season not too long ago, but get some nice Carolina tomatoes and can't really beat stuff like that. You know, the Carolinas have great produce, so anything I could do to utilize that, I'm more than happy to.
And local sourcing with homegrown, literally vegetables. We had Chris Coleman on a few weeks ago. Uses the same company, Fresh List, and obviously doing a lot of great things with it there. So I'm coming to Leluia Hall. It's an old church that's been renovated. Maybe describe the guest experience a little bit.
Sure, you walk in and you see like this very, very old school church building. It's very open. It's very bright. The music is a little upbeat, so it's comforting but still fun. And then you sit down and you just kind of see the restaurant. The acoustics are great. We have a nice upstairs area, but main dining room. There's lots of people talking, lots of people moving around. It's very lively. I think it's a very, very positive, like bright restaurant. I guess the best way to put it. But once you sit down, you know you kind of choose your own adventure. You want to keep it light with some ceviches and a cocktail, or do you want to double down and have some potatoes and au gratin and some wagyu steak? You know, just kind of pick your own adventure. So it's got a little bit of everything for everybody.
Sure, and you can kind of get a glimpse in that adventure at leluiahall.com. It's Leluia hall.com. They've got the menus listed there, dinner menu, drink menu, dessert menu, and of course the weekend brunch menu. And we'll talk a little bit more about brunch here in just a moment, Chris. I know you're going to be one of the guests at the Brisket and Biscuits Barbecue Brunch with the Carolina Barbecue Festival. The barbecue brunch is March 28th at Town Brewing in Charlotte as part of this year's Charlotte Savor program. You can get all the details about Charlotte Savor at charlottesgotalot.com. And for more on brisket and biscuits, just visit carolinabbqfest.org. That's where you can also buy your tickets. Be sure to use promo code Low and Slow, and you'll get your discount there. And Chris, before we get to today's kind of weekend brunch menu and your modern day career here in Charlotte, hey, take us back into your culinary journey. How did you get started into the food and the food craze that you're so passionate about?
Oh, I started super young. I come from a family of terrible cooks. Grew up on rice-a-roni and, just not having a lot of good food at home. So, like when I was 12, I got a crock pot. When I was 13, I got a grill. Then when I was 15, I did a vocational program. So I went to school half the day and then I did cooking the other half of the day. The chef that was there at the time really just took a liking to me, got me involved with the ACF. And that's where I started competing. So I got a full ride to CIA after so I got first place in New York State Skills USA, and then I got second nationals.
Mm.
So just a little off, but got second nationals, and then that gave me the free ride to CIA. So I went to CIA and never looked back. I've been cooking ever since. I cooked in New York City for David Burke, a couple of his restaurants, a couple of years. Cooked at a local, I don't know, I guess a local pub, but really elevated food in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And then moved down here, got a bunch of family down here, and then immediately just started with the group. So Haberdish into Supperland into Leluia Hall. Just kind of never stopped moving.
When you're making that move, is there something about being the opening chef and kind of taking on a new project? Does that keep it fresh for you, or what's your experience? Why stay on path instead of just sticking with Haberdish or Supperland or Leluia Hall?
The way I view it is because I think I'm doing a really good job with these restaurants. So I kind of open them, get the culture going, get what I want going, get the menu set, and then give it to somebody else so they can put their own little spin on it. And then I go and do the same thing with the new restaurant. It keeps it fresh. I have a core group of staff that kind of has followed me for the past 10 years that they know exactly what I want. So like we get the standards going, and then we kind of push it off to the next chef, and they put their own spin on it.
How long does it take for you to get to the standards point where you're ready to hand it off?
2 to 3 years. That's when you can really build the culture of a restaurant. That's when you really like get into the nitty gritty. Sometimes it's sooner, but I think 2 to 3 years is kind of like my standard for where we're at.
Yeah. So is it ever hard to pass it off, or you want to stay with the baby, or that's just your mindset? We're going to keep moving on to the next one.
Supperland was hard to give up. That was my baby. Me and my sous chefs were in there all day, every day. We opened it right at the tail end of the pandemic. So we were there all day, every day. It was hard to get staff. We were washing dishes, prepping all morning, cooking upstairs. And, it just has a little piece of my heart. And then we won Bon Appetit recognition. And Leluia Hall doesn't quite have that recognition yet. So everyone's like, oh, Supperland. Everybody knows Supperland. I was in Dominican Republic, and somebody was just like, oh, Supperland. I love that place. So that one was hard to let go, but it still got my name on it. So I'm still happy about it.
Yeah. Now, do you see Leluia Hall kind of going in that same avenue? I know there's already been a lot of press out there. Do you feel like it's going to get some similar attention from sort of the highbrow chefy publications?
Oh, I definitely think so. The things we're doing over there is super high technique, really, really fresh. Like I said, we're doing like the highest end products that we can get, and just a lot of really high end techniques in there that are subtle, but if you're in the business, you realize and you know.
Does any of that motivate you at all? Are you interested in all that spotlight?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I love it. My girlfriend calls me the mayor. Everybody, when we go out, everybody knows who I am, so it's cool. It's sometimes you just want to sit and have a beer and not talk to anybody, but other than that, it's great. Everyone's super friendly. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy talking food. So.
Yeah, well, as the mayor, certainly of Leluia Hall and probably some of those Tony Dandel Brown restaurant group locations, share your perspective on the current Charlotte food scene and maybe how it started to evolve. What do you see there?
Oh, Charlotte food scene has come a long way just in the past 10 years. Like I said, I got here 10 years ago and there were some restaurants, but what's happened even in the past 5 years has exploded. I'm super happy to see it with Michelin coming to town, getting recognized. Sam Diminich doing a great job. I love his food. He's super talented. Andres down at Custom Shop. Those are some of the best restaurants in the city, and I love to see them growing. And I love to see what it's done for the scene here. Charlotte kind of got a bad rap in not having the greatest culinary scene, but I think that we are slowly taking over better than Atlanta, I would say.
Whoa.
I know, bold statement.
Yeah, but there have been some recent statements about Charlotte kind of taking on our friends, I guess, neighbors down I-85. We compete in so many other things. Why not in the food scene? What about barbecue? Where does it fit into kind of the Charlotte food scene? Because I get the feel it's changed a lot of those 10 years too.
Yeah. So I didn't really do a lot of barbecue when I first got down here, but like I said, when Clayton took over Sweet Lou's, it really, I think, elevated it to the next level for me. And then we were talking about John G's before. John G's is one of the best barbecue spots I've ever had.
Sure.
It's just outrageous. And I had some really good barbecue down in the mountains, Silva, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So I think elevating Charlotte's food is just kind of spreading everywhere in the state, which I'd love to see.
Yeah, very cool. So let's talk about that brunch now. You got a special weekend brunch menu at Leluia Hall. What do you feel like it's important to include in a brunch menu?
Properly cooked eggs is my biggest thing. I'm a huge guy for eggs. We are doing all French style omelets and eggs, so there's no color on any of the eggs. All the scrambles, soft scramble. So I think properly cooked eggs is always one. You got to have a Benedict on the menu. We have a jerk duck Benedict that crushes. It's absolutely delicious. Yeah. So it's like a masa pancake and then a tostada, jerk duck, poached egg, hollandaise, and cilantro. Can't beat it. Got to have bacon and sausage. We grind all of our own sausage. We do like a chorizo breakfast sausage kind of hybrid. Delicious. And then we have dry aged bacon that we cook in duck fat overnight, and you just crisp it up on the grill. So, you got to have the essentials, but you also have to do them really, really well. Everyone has bacon and eggs. What makes ours special? Oh,
Yeah,
and farm
very
fresh
cool.
eggs, obviously. Farm fresh eggs.
Farm fresh eggs. It sounds like there's a lot of special on that menu, but again, you got to have that foundation. And we talked a little bit about a brunch recipe you might share with our audience. What can you share with them that they might be able to use in their own home?
Oh, I have a killer sausage gravy recipe. I know I'm from the north. I shouldn't be able to make sausage gravy, but this is the best thing I've had. I love it. So when we were opening Sufferland, 5, 6 years ago, we were obviously during pandemic, so we were doing dinners at Jeff's house, but we were doing them in the backyard, and we would each bring an item and then trying to get something on the menu. So one of the themes was makes the most southern thing you could think of, and I was like, all right, sausage gravy, but I'm going to deep fry it. So we had the sausage gravy croquettes, but we've
Whoa.
taken that sausage gravy and put it over biscuits, put it over everything. You can't beat it.
So can you walk us through how to make it happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So we take you just take a pork butt, regular pork butt, take the bone out. So you're going to season it, lots of sage. We use sorghum as our sweetener, kind of keep it nice and southern. We got sage, sorghum, tons of spices, herbs, thyme, salt, garlic, all of it. And then we let it sit overnight. So then next day, come grind it. Then after it's nice and ground, we hit it in a pan, some oil, brown it off real nice. Then we add a boatload of butter. So once it's all cooked in the butter, you're going to add more fresh sage, more garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, tons of black pepper. It has a boatload of black pepper. You got to cut through all that creaminess.
You
Then you're
can't
going
have
to
enough.
dust the top with flour. So kind of you're making a roux with your sausage there at the bottom. And then you're going to slowly incorporate your warm milk until you got a nice thick gravy. And then you're just going to taste for seasonings, add some salt, like some fresh cracked pepper, and that's all there is to it. Just about the love and, making sure that you're marinating the sausage is good and right.
Yeah, and then the next step is taking it to that fried croquet level. Wow, that sounds really next level sausage gravy, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, looking ahead to March 28th, have you had a chance to talk with your I guess your partners in chefy culinary crime about what you might put on the menu there? Have you thought about that at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. We chatting the other day. So we have a really large masa program at Leluia Hall. So we do all of our own tacos, all of our own tostadas, tortillas, all that. So we're going to he's going to make a smoked sausage for me with some Southern and Spanish influence to it. And we're going to do a sausage tostada. We're going to get some pickled vegetables, pickled jalapenos, pickled onions. Going to get a nice verde sauce on there. And it's just going to be a quick, fun little bite. It's really going to showcase his sausage and really kind of show what we're doing down at Leluia Hall by using like real high quality masa from Macienda. So it's going to be a nice blue corn masa. And once you have a fresh tortilla or fresh taco tostada, you can't beat that.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess you're cooking with Madison Ruckle, right, from Mama Jane's Barbecue. Is it ever hard to get with the chef and kind of come up with an entree out of the blue? Are there instances that are things that make it hard or easy?
No, I mean, we're both great culinary minds. We just kind of, we had a phone call. We talked about some of the things that we were talking about, some of the things we wanted to do. And I literally just sent him like 20, 25 or 30 ideas, and he kind of hit me back with some of his ideas, and we just kind of mushed them together, and here we are.
Yeah, that sounds like a
it's
great
fun.
way to make. Yeah, a great way to make a cool menu. And there's going to be 6 stations of tasting around the area Saturday, March 29th at Town Brewing Company. And again, Chris Rogienski from Leluia Hall is partnering up with Madison Ruckle. And Chris, we appreciate you taking so much time with us today. You've been so generous answering my questions. Now, I want to allow you an opportunity to kind of take the microphone, maybe talk about something that's important to you.
Sure. I love cooking. I love food. I just had a baby girl. She's 1 month old yesterday, day before.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So just really trying to balance my family life and restaurant life. It's just been a new chapter, and I really love it. Being a dad, I can't really beat that. And that's kind of like one of the biggest things going on in my life right now. So just want to get that out there. Love my little baby Althea.
You should have given us that at the beginning, Chris. Come on, that's the big news. Congratulations there. That's so wonderful. I remember those times you kind of have baby brains going on, and I'm sure you may have a little bit of that going on at the same time. One hard-hitting question left for you, though, talking about that family and your love for food. What keeps you doing it? What keeps your fire burning, Chris?
The people. As happy as you are to eat that food I'm serving you, I am that much happier to watch you eat it and really enjoy it. The face you make when you're like, oh, chef, this is the best steak I've ever had, or this is the best bite of food, or I get out once a month, or, I haven't been out in 6 months and you guys made my night. That part, the customer just really enjoying the food, and my staff. I mean, you have to be a pillar of strength, and you have to be really, really positive when you are surrounded yourself with so many people in the restaurant industry, and just having that connection with everybody, seeing the same people every day, and just, you're more than a chef. You're a mentor, you're a psychologist, you're a therapist, you're everything in between. And I love wearing the different hats and, getting people to really excel. I have people that started with me as dishwashers that now can cook circles around most of the people that have been cooking for years, just giving that person that was a $15 an hour, dishwasher is now like a $23 an hour line cook. That makes me super happy. That's something they have for the rest of their life.
And that, my friends, is the final word from Chris Rogienski, executive chef at Leluia Hall. Meet him at Brisket and Biscuits coming up March 28th at Town Brewing Company in Charlotte. Barbecue Brunch is presented in conjunction with Savor Charlotte and charlottesgotalot.com. Tickets on sale now at carolinabbqfest.org. Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Blast.
You've been listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show, sponsored by the Carolina Barbecue Festival, April 17th and 18th in Charlotte's Victoria Yards. Reserve your tickets for the Carolina Barbecue Festival at carolinabbqfest.org. Again, be sure and use that promo code Low and Slow, all one word, all caps. You'll get your discount on tickets there. For more interviews with pitmasters and chefs from the Barbecue Festival and the Barbecue Brunch, visit lowslowbbqshow.com. You'll find our blog with festival and event details. You can sign up for our weekly newsletter. We'll deliver the latest barbecue news and food truck schedules, event guides, all that in your email inbox. You can sign up at lowslowbbqshow.com. The Low and Slow Barbecue Show is proud to be part of the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. That's where our producer Andrew Moose makes us sound and look good every episode. Thank you, Andrew Moose. Thank you as well to our audience for listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. If you like what you hear, share our podcast with your food-loving friends, and please give us a 5-star rating on your favorite stream. Join us again next time when we share more pitmaster stories, recipes, and advice on the best barbecue you can find in the land, from the farm to the fire to your plate. For the Low and Slow Barbecue Show, I'm Trigger Willard, reminding you that for the best barbecue and the best barbecue podcast, make it low and slow.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.